every bridge you go under, it's a biker thing. You just can't help yourself from getting off the gearing real quick and just giving it a little love tap. It's so tempting. That's a very terrible shift. Oh my God. I have to edit that out. I'm gonna edit out all the bad shifts. That way, on camera, I can at least look like I know what I'm doing, right? Like, oh, I've done a lot of riding, and people are like, oh, but you can't shift. Every overpass you come to, it's just so tempting not to do that. You know? And I'm a child. I hands down, I'm like a little kid, and so, of course, you know, I'm gonna do it. Let me get around these cars real quick. I don't want to be behind you. Safety first. Oh, I hate this interstate. I'm literally going to have the strongest neck in the world when this ride is done. My neck is just going to be a steel neck from fighting this wind this whole time. Just maximum effort. Just totally trying to I feel like an ostrich stiffening my neck into the wind. Just brutal. Just beating up against you. This bike, hands down, sucks ass on the road as far as like on the interstate. However, that's another thing I hear with the Harley riders, you know, like in the 48s, because you don't have a windscreen. And people say, oh, I hate all the wind, you know. It's too much wind. I hear that all the time. All the YouTube channels, people are like, oh, you need a windshield because there's too much wind on this bike. Go drive a car, dude. You're on a motorcycle. That's like the whole point. Anyways, yeah, I was leaving Harley, and one of the things that came to mind there was, get the inspection. Besides the fact that when you go into a Harley Davidson, people are looking at you and expecting you to buy something, right? There's no like window shopping at Harley Davidson. It just kind of implied like, hey, you're in our store, so you better buy some shit, It's like, it just feels like there's a lot of pressure. First off, there's like 20 different salespeople. You have like the women, usually, this is just from my experience, guys, like most Harleys that I go into, all the females are selling like the apparel and hats and stuff. So if you go over to that area, they're like sharks on you. Like, hey, you want to buy a hat, Like, hey, you want a t-shirt? What can I help you with, They're always super helpful. They want you to buy some clothes. Dude, what are you doing, bro? So damn slow. Yeah, but Harley Davidson, right? You go to the apparel section, they're like, buy some damn clothes, dude. What are you doing? You can't just be looking around here. You can't just try shit on and see if it fits or not. You need to buy something, right? And then you go over to the bikes, right? Like if you don't even look at the bikes, guys. When you go in there, if you stare at a bike, 100% guys are gonna be like, hey, what's your name? What's your phone number? What's your, let me see some ID. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, I'm just walking through here. I just gonna look at this bike. I'm not even sitting on it. I'm just gonna look at it. Like, yeah, you're gonna buy it. That's what you're gonna do. There's just a lot of pressure when you go in there. But, I mean, that's probably because Harley's like the only company, right, that really has their own separate dealership, Like if you buy a Yamaha or a Suzuki, you're going to go to a place that has those bikes. It's like a power sport bike, and usually it's like a collective, right? Like they sell Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki, Honda. They'll sell like all the different bikes. It's not just like a Yamaha specific dealer. And so I guess you're just not used to that, right? Like crazy. Well, goddamn Honda Civic. I'm going slow, guys, so you can hear me. Anyways. Yeah, but I guess that's just, you don't expect that, right? Until you start getting into Harleys and buying Harleys. I didn't even notice it because a lot of the other bike places you go to, you don't have that many options. You have like Cycle Gear or 4x4 Power Sports or ordering the stuff online. You might be able to have like a JP Cycles or something, you know, in your area, but that's also super rare. And so I didn't really notice it until I bought my first Harley. And then you start going to the Harley Davidson dealership and you're like, Jesus Christ, it's like buying a car. It's like going to a car dealership. It is. Just like the environment and everything is just super weird. It's just different. It's kind of shitty. It really is. It's kind of shitty. I understand. They're there to make quota. They're there to make sales and all that. But it's just kind of a shitty stigma. I combat that, guys. Like, I just try to be super cool to the guys, and I asked them a lot of questions too, you know. If somebody wants to come up and talk to me, and you're actually going to come over here and talk to me, which I don't like talking to people anyways, but if you're going to come up here and bother me, I'm going to ask you some questions. So just chat it up with them, guys. It makes the experience a lot better, and it makes them a lot less, they give you a lot less pressure into, like, they tend to bring back that whole, like, you gotta buy some shit vibe. I don't know, I haven't had too much bad stigma with going in Harley like that, but it's definitely, I would say, a thing. You definitely don't feel like you can just go in there and just kind of look around. And I don't know if it's because they just have so many employees, or like, I really don't know what the deal is, but it's just kind of like gives off a used car dealership vibe, you know? Like, where's your wallet, dude? You almost want to go in there and just buy something immediately, you know? You just want to go in there like, yeah, dude, I came here for this hat. Okay, now let me look around, you know? Like, but it's weird. But I do love it too, guys. It's like a love and hate relationship, because buying a Harley, and this was a big deal for me. I was going to go back to Victory Octane. So the last two bikes I had a Harley 48. It's a 2015 Harley 48. I got an amazing deal on that bike, by the way, but I came off of that and got a Victory Octane, and to me, that bike seemed like the best of both worlds, right? Because I had a Yamaha MT-10 and an R1 before that, and I was riding out in California, and I was hauling ass, you know? And that riding style, to me, the Victory Octane seemed to make the most sense, because it's a cruiser. I'm old now. I don't go as fast as I used to, because I'm way older. I have more things I care about now. When I was younger, I really just didn't give a shit about anything. I didn't care if I wrecked, you know, that's the last thing on my mind. But now, you know, like, the older you get, the less you really give a shit about hauling ass to every destination. But I still wanted a bike that was gonna, I don't know, keep me entertained. You know, it's very hard when you go from a fast bike. Let's say you spend a bunch of time on an R1. You never want to go backwards. You know, it's like, oh, it's terrible. Like trying to go from a fast bike, something that's got a lot of pickup, back to a slow bike. It's just not fun. Nothing about it is fun. But back to what I was saying about, like, owning a Harley, and it's just part of that culture. So, and another big thing that went into that was I love the Harley community, man. Like, the heritage and the history that comes with Harleys, I absolutely love it. It's incredible. There's no other bike company out there. Like, well, so Indian and stuff, you know, they're kind of, I kind of like them too. They got a lot of coolness with their brand. I mean, you can go pretty quick on these if you want to, guys. Man, that's what you get with a Harley, you know, like being able to have somewhere to go. And I knew if I went back to the Octane, if I went back to the Victory Octane, I didn't have anywhere to go. Like, I can go to Indian, but they don't even have Victories. They don't even have Victories anymore, you know? Like, that whole brand is gone. But that was my big thing. It's like, I love going to Harley. I love taking my wife to Harley. They have events all the time, guys. Like Memorial Day rides. They have just random stuff. Like almost every month they have something there. Independence Day, Christmas. I actually don't know if they did anything for Christmas this year, but they have like events and stuff there. So for me, those are things that I enjoy, which I'm a lot older, right? So most of you guys might be out there, you might be young and you might not care about any of that stuff, but for me, and I don't even like people, so it's, but for me, I really enjoy that stuff. It's just super cool to have a place to go, and I didn't have that for so long, having a sport bike. The best I had was cycle gear, which is pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And you go to cycle gear, and I swear to God, half the people that work at cycle gear nowadays, know nothing about motorcycles. Anyways, guys, that's my 2 cents on the Harley and the community and all that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, tell somebody you love them. I'll see you in the next one.